Forgot my cap.
Is it your cat?
No. Ryan?
We're on air.
Oh, we're on air. There we go. I don't know about you guys, but we've had some great relaxing partying time. It's been Canada Day. It's been July the 4th. Some of us been camping. Some of us been parading. Some of us been playing golf. And some of us, just, hey, relaxing. So that's why it's been a great week. I don't know about you guys. Welcome to the Android Coliseum's Friday Night Hangout number 36. It is July the 7th here, which I said, we've gone over Canada Day. We've gone over July 4th for our American friends. How have you guys spent the week? Tom, what have you done?
Well, here on July 5th, we're doing
July
pretty...
5th, that's what it was. I saw 7. It's like I screwed up. July 5th,
okay,
yes.
Here. Had some pretty crazy hot weather. A couple of thunderstorms came and passed. We almost looked pretty sketchy there for a while. We're doing okay around here.
I went camping with lots of mosquitoes. It was awesome.
I think it's the Canadian way. You can't go camping without mosquitoes. It's part of your Canadian passport.
There's a fee for it. You pay a few bucks, they give you mosquitoes. Perfect.
There you go. It's the Canadian experience. Myself, we had a nice relaxed Canada Day, and I just was with the pipe band playing in parades, and July 4th there, and that's tons of fireworks, great times. Yourself, Cass? I saw some golf photo.
Yes, we went golfing today, but mostly we were home. We went to Medicine Hat and saw the Southern Alberta water levels, and that's about it. Worked all week while envying you guys who get to go on holidays.
Kind of working holiday.
Sure.
Still working.
Yeah, I worked all week anyways. I didn't get any vacation.
No,
I'm back to work on Monday.
Week, but it felt like a long week. I think because it was so hot.
Well, I always think it's the Monday offs are usually the worst, right? Because then you come in already missing a day, versus if it's a Friday day off and it's a little easier. You're coming up to a day off, versus already missing one. Anyways, that's us talking about our Canadian stuff. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about, and we really want to thank everybody for tuning in to our show. And if you're watching us live, we do have the agenda up and online in our Google Doc, which you can follow along, make comments. You can comment directly in the Google Doc, on our blog, on our Google Plus, on our YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, and that way we can make sure that we're talking about the stuff that you want to make sure that you guys want to hear about. So let us know. We've got some topics to go through, and we'll just go through one by one, and we'll get through it. At the very end, we'll open this up to off-air, and if you want to jump in and correct our mistakes, and you'll point out that we actually had, I made a mistake here or there, like July 7th versus 5th, go ahead and point it out to me. That's fine. But one thing we should probably do, I normally do, is introduce our panel. Right now we're missing Mark, who is having some issues with his cable internet and then putting his kid to bed, so he'll be popping in as soon as we can. But also with us, we have golfing star Cass Morrison.
I would hardly call it golfing. It's vlogging this year. Vlogging, I tell you.
That's okay. Myself, Ryan Moore, here with Android Coliseum. We also have Sylvain Labouris.
Hello.
Who is manning our camera to make sure it looks good. So if it doesn't, blame him. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, all right. And then Tom Gray also as well. Okay, so let's break into it. I've been kind of off, so I've had limited internet access the past couple of days. So what are we hearing about? I see, the Asus confirmed the Nexus 7-2 Mark II or second generation, whatever you want to call it. The next version, and it's going to be made by Asus, which is really cool, I thought. Asus has been making some good tablets. I really like them. And they did say by the end of the second quarter, which would mean by the end of this month, or beginning of the third quarter, or whatever the number was. Tom, you were following the story. You want to give us some updates on this one?
Yeah, so essentially it was a couple of screenshots of a live chat right from the Asus website. And they confirmed, or semi-confirmed, saying, here's the specs. Not quite official, but, I mean, you can guess they're going to be pretty spot on. This is going to be a typical, quad-core, 2 gig RAM, They say it's going to be running Google's new 4.3 that we've been seeing leaks around. That's pretty much about it. There's no confirmation on a price point, but everyone's kind of hoping that they're going to hold the same price point in between $200 and $300. Cool feature is they're going to have mobile data on this one. It's not just going to be a Wi-Fi tablet. They're actually going to have GSM and LTE capabilities. Unsure at this point if that's going to be a more expensive feature you'll have to pay for by buying a more premium version, but having that feature nonetheless is pretty awesome. Cass, what would you think about that?
Well, I'm just wondering, I have had a tablet that was a GSM tablet, and since then all my follow-ups have been Wi-Fi because you can tether for free in Canada.
Yes.
So I'm wondering how popular that would be in Canada. Do you think it would be a selling point? Because you'd have to get a tablet.
I do think it would be a selling point because we've actually been hearing a little bit about this. In fact, Martin Gay, I believe, was talking about that. Talking about, are we ready for a data-only service? Can we get by canceling our minutes, texting, and living off a simple data plan? We got so many apps that will give us a phone number over the internet, have calling all around the world, such as Skype and stuff like that. Your data will get you in contact with all your messengers and stuff like that. It'll be a bit of a transition to get away from texting and calling, but you still have it, just different methods of doing it. So rather than your $60, $70 cell phone bill, you can get by on a $30 6 gig data plan. So, I mean, you could essentially have a tablet replace all your mobile needs.
But you wouldn't want to put it up at your head.
Yeah, I was wondering, I wonder if they would come as Wi-Fi only. I'm guessing so.
I'm assuming, the previous models usually, at least in the States, would have a Wi-Fi and then a GSM LTE capable one.
So different
but
versions.
In Canada, do we have to buy an extra LTE card?
Yes.
And you have to pay an extra, per device fee,
you
right?
You have to pay for a tablet access, or you used to.
And
but it was a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it just tags into your already data plan you would have. So that's I don't know if I would or not. I mean, the one thing, and go back to Martin's comment about going to data only, and something we talked about for a long time. The problem is, for example, I just came back from the States where I had no data whatsoever. And there's a lot of places where I'd have no data that I wouldn't get my text messages or I wouldn't get my voice messages and whatnot. So, I mean, I long for the day we can do that, and it's just a matter of maybe the savings I would have of not having minutes, I would just maybe put into some, roaming data or something maybe for the time that I would go. But it'd be interesting to see the option and see how well it sells in Canada.
I'm sure it's going to go that way eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Data only.
It will.
Cool. So I will push it that way.
I'm for the next Nexus 7, I'm looking for the fact that it's going to have a pretty good spec jump for me, because the Nexus 7 as it is, it's still a damn good device. Like, a friend of mine just bought hers the other day, and I was playing with it. It's pretty on par with what I have in my Nexus 4 in terms of capabilities, and so I'd have to see what they do, because otherwise I think it might be really in my better interest to buy, if I can find a discontinued Nexus 7 first generation, if it drops any cheaper because the new one's out. Tom, your thoughts? I know you just bought a new tablet, so
I'm definitely buying the next generation of Nexus 7 when it comes out for sure. I mean, I just bought a cheap tablet, but I want one for myself. This one's a cheap one for my son. I mean, hence why it's cheap. If he drops it, whatever. The first Nexus 7s, dual core, 1 gig RAM. So the second one, they're kind of telling you it's going to be a quad core, 2 gig RAM. So you're kind of doubling everything. They're talking about a 32 gig model. We're talking about GSM and LTE capabilities. So right there, we've kind of doubled everything. Don't think we can really expect much more than that at this point. And if we are expecting more than that, it ain't going to be $200 or $300. We're going to see, $400 and up. So we got to be kind of realistic about that as well. We won't see a $200 tablet with, octa-core or whatever. It ain't going to happen right now, as much as I'd love to see it.
No, and the other thing would be too, what are the new features that this one is going to have over the other one in terms of the operating system? And if the Nexus 7 gets the same updates to be the same, it'd just be the hardware underneath. and it's something where we can talk about later when you guys get to the tablet section. It'll be, I mean, I use my tablet differently than I use my phone. I don't need to have bleeding edge tech on my tablet. But anyway, we'll leave some of the tablet discussion for the next.
Tablets.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that later. Let's move along. And speaking of the Android version that it would come with, we're starting to hear talks about Android 4.3. So the next version of Android, and now I don't know whether or not they've mentioned whether or not 4.3 is still going to be at Jelly Bean, or are they going to call it yeah, that's probably what I was thinking, keeping it at Jelly Bean.
Another Jelly Bean release.
And now what happened, I think this came out originally, it was a leak of an S4 sort of beta test of the S4. And people have been picking it apart and finding it out. And again, I've been out of the throes on this for a bit. So again, Tom, I'll leave it to you to sort of discuss, and what's the breakdown of 4.3?
Sure. So the Google edition of the S4 actually is running 4.3 right now. And people are going, I'm jealous. What the hell? Because I have the S4, or I have a Nexus 4. I have a Nexus device. Why the hell do I not have 4.3? And same with people getting the updated camera, the leaks. The Google edition of HTC One, of the S4, all have the new Google camera. And yet you Nexus owners don't have it yet. And people are going, hey, I'm a Nexus user. I should have this weeks before you guys got it. Again, what the hell? So basically they're taking this 4.3 leak and doing what XDA people do. They're ripping it apart. They're trying to port it to anything that will run Android. I mean, everybody wants the latest and greatest, and some devices are successfully running it with minimal bugs. You have to expect some bugs. HTC One was one of them. I saw a couple of early releases, but I couldn't find the download for it. So obviously it's not really stable enough for prime time, but they are out there, and they will become more and more frequent as time goes on. So keep your eyes out for that, and that's about all the information I had. I've seen a couple of specs from a couple of my CyanogenMod friends, like Kurt Kolbeck, who does a lot of work for them right now in terms of UI, and he was saying one of the features they've actually confirmed is Wi-Fi. Even though you turn your Wi-Fi off, it's going to run in the background just a little bit, so when you download an app, or Google Now, or location-based data, it'll actually turn on your Wi-Fi without you even telling it to help you get that access, and then turning itself off. So that's one of the features they're including into it. That's been confirmed. Other than that, everything's still up in the air.
Okay. I'm just, to be honest with you, because I haven't really been paying that much attention, I'm floored that a non-Nexus has a higher version right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little sore about that.
You amongst other people are in that same boat. Again, they're going, excuse me, Nexus, here.
Yeah, I while you were talking, I was just checking my phone, do an update. Should I not have this already? Why not? I was in the States. Maybe that. No, I didn't get anything. So speaking about the Nexus device, something this is, again, because I was out of it, and I remember before I went away, I heard about people complaining that, you know what, the white Nexus 4 is no longer in their Play Store in the US. Well, it never was in Canada, but it now is discontinued or gone from the Play Store in the US. And now we hear it's coming to Canada now. So Tom, again, you've been following this one a bit more.
Yeah,
I'm going to toss most of these over to you.
It got announced, I saw either, I think it was yesterday or today, but Win Mobile and Videotron have confirmed, two carriers in Canada are confirmed going to have this on their lineup very soon. Also, the Google Play Store has said that they're going to take it on and release it to us Canadians. The question I asked, though, is it really logical to start selling a white Nexus 4 on the Google Play Store right now? Because, I mean, I don't know anybody who's going to really want to buy it, knowing that the Nexus next generation for phone isn't much far away. So why would you want to buy an outdated device unless they're going to discount it a little bit, which they're not? So it just kind of puzzles. I think it's a little too late, in my opinion. It should have been released way back in, March, April area, and it might have been more acceptable. But right now, I think they missed the deadline on this one.
Maybe they'll put 4.3 on it.
Well, what I always find annoying about phones is that they don't come out with those color options off the hop. Like what? Like why? Like why release the HTC One and then 3 months later come out in red? You know,
Manufacturing. It's not.
that, but
This
this
is something
long?
I learned back in the iPhone days.
7 months?
Yeah, it actually really is. This is again before I was an Android, I was an iPhone guy, right? And the iPhone 4 only came out in black, and about 3 or 4 months later, they came out in white, and people were freaking out. Why? I want the white iPhone. I want it. And Apple actually came out and said, well, we actually have to change the whole distribution and process line of making the phones. It's not as simple as going, okay, now you're going to be white. They said there's a lot of processes involved, yada, 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 but that's just what we've come to believe, whether it's true or not. Cass, you got a comment?
Oh, just about, they do end up selling those Nexuses pretty well right up, introducing them to new markets pretty well right up to when the new one comes out. So it doesn't really surprise me that they're putting out the white ones now. There's a lot of people that just wait for white.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know why.
Ryan and I were just talking off air just before we went online, and basically we came to the consensus that they basically just shipping all the unsold Nexuses from the States, just give it to us in boxes here. We couldn't sell these. You Canadians deal with it.
Yeah. It's kind of like your colors,
That's
red and
right.
white, so it'll
Our
be kind of
name is
patriotic.
Nike.
Now you wrote in the agenda and Google Edition devices. Is that meaning that we're going to be seeing HTC Ones, Google Edition, and S4 Google Editions?
They are coming to Canada. There's no set date, but the rumor is probably next month or the month after, but they are coming. And again, we talked about this offline. I went on the American version of the Google Play Store and had a look at the devices, and the HTC One is selling for $599, and the S4 is $649. Keep in mind that's American dollars, so that might be $50 higher on each when they are available in Canada. So we were all kind of hoping for cheap, Google device. Maybe we get like $100 off. No dice. It's going to be very expensive to order these, and on top of that, you got like the $50 shipping from Google Play. And so it's really going to hurt if you're going to buy one of these devices.
Yeah, that's really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the comments we had about that is, I think we all really got spoiled by the Nexus 4. I mean, the Galaxy Nexus, the Nexus 1 were never a subsidized in any way device. They were a full pop. Plus, I really can't see, basically Google wanting to compete against Samsung or HTC for those devices. So they're going to keep them at the same price. I mean, that would be their smart thing. I mean, they don't want to make enemies of those guys and say, well, buy theirs or ours is cheaper. That would be, I think, a bad business sense, personally. That's just me. Okay, so speaking of devices coming around the corner, the Galaxy Note 3. This is a pretty cool device. I know, Tom, you were a Galaxy Note 2 user for a long time. I really liked it. I mean, I eventually went Nexus anyways. But Galaxy Note 3. So, again, just looking over what I kind of saw on it, it was going to be up to 6 inches.
Yep.
A little spec jump in some areas, like full 1080p, potentially 3 gigs of RAM. Yeah, it's going to be that Xperia Z Ultra.
Yeah.
And then
between 5.7 and 5.9. That's the two rumored devices. Apparently, they've seen pictures of it and they've kind of estimated it to be like that. The device shouldn't be any bigger. It's just the bezel smaller, just like what they did with the Note
S4.
2. Yeah, 3 gigs RAM. They're kind of confirming 3 gigs RAM. Octa-core, we're not sure yet. Yeah, not sure about octa-core yet. So for me to buy this device, it kind of depends if the Nexus comes out first or the Note 3 comes out first, because I may jump on either one. Because I do like the Galaxy Note, like it's like the tablet and phone and all in one. I mean, I really do like it. So it will be a tough choice for me when I come down that road.
And the pen is an amazing thing, and I think I've starting to come to realize I prefer the Note device as a tablet rather than a phone. I'm really liking a Nexus device. I mean, that's just me. But again, I love to see what they can do in the space, especially if that, what we talked about last week, that Z Ultra becomes a real competitor to the Galaxy Note series, to see what they do to sort of come out against it. Other devices coming out, we're hearing that the Motorola X, this Moto X, the X phone, is going to come to Rogers as an exclusive. So a few people out there in Canada were going, oh, Rogers, but I'm on Bell, and I'm sitting myself, I'm on Bell. I mean, Motorola has had some pretty decent devices, and this is going to be the first real device that's under the Google banner of Motorola, right? So this is the one people have been talking about in terms of hype. That it's going to have all these really cool things, and I'm not a big rumors guy, but it'd be really cool to see what they can do with it, and to come to Rogers first. I don't know. Cass, you had a comment?
I don't know. The things I've heard about the Moto X just sounds like a mid-range phone that you can, like from what I read, the things you can do to personalize it will be things like the wallpaper and the color of the back and stuff like that. But it's not going to change the specs. It's not going to change. It's not. I don't know. It doesn't sound compelling to me, and not just because I like Samsung. It just doesn't sound compelling to me.
And this is one of the reasons I hate rumors. When people start, oh, it's customizable. So immediately my brain goes, okay, well.
They said that.
Yeah. So and I start thinking, but when they leave it as vague as they say, I start thinking stuff like, okay, well maybe I can get a different battery, or a bigger battery. What if I can get it
that would be
LTE or non-LTE? Can I get it? Which is a cool idea, to have. Instead of, this is the Galaxy S4, this is the Galaxy S4 Mini, this is the Galaxy S4 Rugged, actually same SKU, but just different options. But I find options is not customizability. That's not really customizing, I think. Tom, you had a comment?
The Moto X phone, this is pure Apple, marketing at its best. They are taking Apple's marketing abilities and just using it for themselves. All these leaks, all these little images of the top right corner of the device. Oh, this is going to be the best thing ever. It's and all the teases over and over. It's Apple marketing. But anyways, that aside, I think it's overhyped. I think, as Cass actually was exactly right on, it's going to be a mid-range phone.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Motorola, in my opinion, kind of disappeared for a little while. I mean, you didn't hear any big news coming from Motorola. And then, are they really going to be able to stand up against the big boys when it comes to, HTC and Samsung? I see them being side by side with Sony. Sorry, Mark, I know you're a Sony guy, but I see Sony as that mid-range, kind of under-the-rug type company for Android phones.
Don't count Sony out. They can make very compelling hardware when they're motivated.
They can, but right now they're not. Therefore, they don't take the top spot for me as an Android user. I have zero appeal for them. It's just
I don't know. I'm looking at that Ultra, and to be honest with you, that's starting to entice me.
The fact that it's a Rogers exclusive, again, you go, it's coming, forget it. Because, now they're thinking, Motorola, it's going to be owned by Google, and you'll get updates really fast, not a Nexus, but hey, closer to Google than anybody else is. And then you go, but now I'm going to have to wait for Rogers, and Rogers is notorious for dragging their feet when it comes to releasing updates. So, and then, of course, they're going to pump it with all their Rogers crap, which is, nobody wants that.
But then here's the thing, though. I'm wondering about that is, if it's Rogers exclusive, do you think they also might get a Play Store edition? But if it's a Google Motorola idea, it'll be somewhat of a Google edition device. So it'll have a stock experience. So obviously, I can go ahead and disable a bunch of the Rogers stuff if I don't like it. But what I'm wondering of being Rogers exclusive, I mean, we always saw with the Droid Razr or the Motorola Razr, and the Bell would have the Atrix series. It's sort of that split. So is Rogers going to get the Moto X? And is Bell going to get the Atrix X or something, that's exclusive to Bell? And again, there goes the variance, and there goes your customizability. I can change my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they make some really sexy phones. I mean, when I remember reviewing the the Razr, and like this thing is a nice phone. Like it was just sleek. It's everything you wanted it to be, to look like. But I got to see the specs, and I'm trying to really get past my little bit of upsetness about customizability. It may come in different colors. Oh, well.
The one that killed me about that was
Yeah.
with a different wallpaper. Like, really? Pretty well
It's all about the
everybody
hype
I
right
know has figured out how to change their wallpaper.
Once again, it's Apple marketing. You know, you're advertising a feature that everyone else has as a new feature that everyone else has already had for a long time.
Yeah, but it's a new feature. And I'm just funny because I'm kind of scrolling through my news feeds trying to get caught up after this weekend, and I'm seeing one of the articles I saw was, is Motorola using subliminal messaging? Because there's that picture that they have when the two people are jumping into the lake, and there's like one guy's making an X, another person's making like an I. Is it on the 11th? Is there going to be some sort of, I'm like, okay, never mind, people. Just we have to stop the hype. Like, just stop buying into it, people. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I know I'm cynical about hype and rumors and whatnot. So, I don't know. Let's just wait till things. People, be patient. We're Canadian. We can do this. We can be patient. Anyways, the next thing we were going to talk about was the Sony's new rumor device. The things that stuff that's been coming out is the Honami. But we're going to let Mark talk about that because we talked before. Mark is our Sony guy. He is right up there in understanding all that stuff, but he is currently unavailable. So we will stall on that one to see if he can come in. If he doesn't get in before the App Coliseum, we'll talk about it. Okay, so the last thing we'll talk about in the main topics is my weekly poll. So again, I really want to understand who you guys are out there. And this past week, or last week, we talked about Google Reader and its death, right? So if you now go to Google Reader or google.com/reader, it's going to give you a dead link. Well, Renaud kind of said, then that should be the death of RSS. Let it go. Don't use it. Do something else. So I wanted to find out, what would you guys do if you couldn't use RSS? What would be the options? And I think I know some of the answers here. So, Cass, what would you do if you couldn't use RSS to get your news? What would you go for?
Actually, I would use Twitter because I do have Falcon Pro, and Falcon Pro is awesome. It's a really nice way to follow brands and stuff like that because you can open it right in the app. You can read the whole article. You can launch YouTube videos and all that stuff. So yeah, I would just go Twitter.
Twitter? I don't know.
Although,
maybe I use my Twitter differently. So
I only look at Twitter on my phone and on my tablet. I never look at it on the computer. So take it for what it's worth.
Personally, my look at it is I look at the Google Plus communities. I'm going to find a specific community that would be for a certain area, and then, or maybe it's for a page or whatever. But I would troll that. But again, it comes back to I would then look at the Nexus 4 community, an Android general community, an ASUS tablet community, and it's back to looking at having to go to different source, so to keep through. And there's no way to unify it into a single feed. Sylvain, what would you do if RSS were to be disappeared, like gone?
Well, I've uninstalled every app, like Currents, the Flipboard, all those apps. So I'm pretty much out of the loop right now. My only source is Google Plus, all the pages that I follow, and that's about it.
Okay. Tom, yourself?
Yeah, Google Plus is the answer to all questions, man. I mean, it is my home for social, family, news, and just to simply get a laugh from some GIF pictures, whatever. I mean, Google Plus is what I use my computer for.
Okay. Now, I ended on Tom specifically because when I look at the poll, the answers that people have been given right now, over half of the people are saying Google Plus. That's where they would be going. There are some that are saying specific forums like Google Plus or XDA or something like that they would use as well. Like 10% are saying that. We have 10% are saying Pulse, but Pulse is itself RSS somewhat based, right?
Yeah.
Feedly, 20% are saying Feedly, and again, that's an RSS based situation. A specific site like Android Coliseum, they would go directly to the site themselves. And I remember that just feels like the dark ages, though, like when I would have to go back to, like I would keep my, you know, bookmarks folder. Okay, I'm gonna check that page, that page, that page, that page, and read through each individual page. So RSS is just a great way to mass consume. And I think hopefully we'll see some way that this is how Google Reader is going to integrate into Google Plus in some manner. We'll see that happen somewhere. Who knows? Maybe when they announce the next Nexus and 4.3, at their event, coming up maybe at the end of July, that they'll start talking about what is Google Reader going to become and morph into. Very Kafka-esque. Anyways, let's move along here. So let's talking about reviews and tablets earlier. A couple of guys here got themselves some new tablets, and let's hear about this. So, Sylvain, you went on a camping trip, so you knew you needed something to do some reading on while you're out there, because you can't just sit out in the beautiful Canadian backcountry, and you need to have an electronic device to keep you entertained. So you bought what?
Well, you say that, Ryan, but I did not use any devices. It was awesome.
I'm iBug.
All right, so, well, I have a very difficult partnership with tablets because, was it 2 years ago, I bought the G tablet from ViewSonic. Worst tablet ever. It's been in its case for months. I never use it. And just before I bought this new tablet, I tried it again, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. All right. So I went to Future Shop. Thanks, Tom. I think he was talking about the special for Canada Day. So I went there, and I knew that the tablet I was looking at, which is the Samsung Galaxy Tab 2 7-inch, was on sale for $170. So I'm like, all right, that's good. But I get there, and all the tablets are the same price. So I'm like, that's not good. What to choose? So anyway, I only need a tablet for a few reasons. I need it to read in a playbook. I need to be able to watch Netflix and listen to music a little bit. So you don't need a really big tablet. That's why I chose that one. It was cheap. Yeah, I know it's a year old now, but I don't need really more than that. But will I keep it? I'm not sure. Nexus, the new Nexus 7 is coming out. I'll see. I have 2 weeks to decide. So that's it for my tablet. It's really good. I don't have a reason to return it. It does what I need to do, and it's just perfect. And I thought I would just keep it stuck, which is absolutely awful. I think I counted earlier, and I froze 40 apps and processes on it. So I needed to do that because I was itchy, about all those apps. Really not good. So what about you, Tom? You bought a tablet too?
I did. The Galaxy Tab 2 is actually one I was very seriously considering, but based on price, I bought the Asus MemoPad 7. And also on the Canada Day sale, I bought it from Best Buy for a $129. And the reason why I opted for a cheaper tablet is actually for my son, and he's almost a year and a half old now. So it's going to get bumped, it's going to get scratched, it's going to have sticky fingers, and might even get dropped once or twice. So I needed something that I wouldn't pull my hair out, if he dropped it and smashed. So yes, I will be buying the Nexus 7 as well. As Sylvain said, this tablet's probably about a year old as well. It's only a single core. It's only got 1 gig RAM, but it's got 32 gigs of storage, so plenty of space for games and videos, and it plays videos without any lag. It plays my games like Cut the Rope and Angry Birds without any lag, so it's not going to be a speedy device, but you know what? For him, it does everything, and it does it nicely. I think multitasking is out of the question, but I mean, he wants to play one game and one game only. It fits the purpose.
Yeah, what version of Jelly Bean does it run?
It runs 4.1.1 right now.
Okay, same here.
Cool.
You have
both really good tablets.
Right? On yours as well, right, Sylvain?
Say again, Tom?
You have an expandable memory port on yours?
Yes, and that's one reason why I wanted to buy it. I had an old 16 gigs from my HTC Hero.
Mm-hmm.
I just put it back in, and you know what? I put a lot of movies on there. I'm good to go. Even though You were saying your tablet is 32 gigs, mine is only 8.
Ooh, well, at least you got that SD card to help you out there. I also have an SD card expandable, but with 32 gigs, you almost don't need to.
That's right.
Cass, you had a comment?
Yeah, I have the 7 as well, the 8 gig 7. And I have never had a problem with running out of space on it. Because it's a tablet, you don't add that much stuff on it. And the thing that I do like about it is as I move from tablet to tablet, I can just swap my movies around. And it does have that camera. And even though it's only a 3 gig camera, you know, if it's the camera you have with you, I got some really nice pictures in the Cook Islands because I was walking around with my tablet. So, you know, that's another thing to think about with it.
Yeah, that's one thing I should consider trying, because I was saying that I disabled a lot of processes. Gallery is one of them. So yeah, I should try to take a picture and see how it is.
Cool. Okay. Now, take a look. We do have on the blog our database of Android devices that you can buy in Canada, and you'll find the stats and specs of all of them, and listing actually the Memo Pad and the Galaxy Tab 2, which is funny. And I look at it because the devices that are coming out, like right now, it's not out yet, but there is the Memo Pad HD, the new version of what Tom bought, and there is coming out the Galaxy Tab 3, the new version of what Sylvain bought. So I want to ask you guys, when you know that there's going to be a new device coming around the corner, what sort of prompted you to buy this device? Was it, you know, financial, or was it just, you know, I just needed it at that time, at that right time there? I'm not about to wait.
Well, you know what? I was at Fuchsia Shop and I got that message from Tom that the new Nexus 7 was coming out. So that's why I hesitated before I bought it, but I'm like, screw that. I just bought it.
For me, I've been tablet hunting for a little while, and when I saw a Canada Day sale and I saw this tablet for $70 off, I mean, it was a no-brainer. You know, a good tablet for, you know, $100. Yeah, you get that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good price. I mean, it really, you can't argue with that, especially if you're looking for your kid. So, anyways, so tell us what you guys think. Have you guys tried either of these tablets? Let us know what you think. Who should win that argument? Which is the better tablet? Is there really an answer as which is the better tablet? Because again, we discussed that everybody uses their device differently, and we use even our phones to our tablets differently. So who's to say what's best for each person? It's what's best for that person individually, right? Okay, so updates this past week. I see that the HTC One got its official 4.2.2. Now, did that get in Canada as well, or is that just in Europe right now?
Taiwan and Europe right now. We talked about the 4.2.2 a couple weeks back, and it was from a leak, also from Europe, and now it's actually been adopted by some carriers, and it is now official. And as I said a few times before, here in North America, we use the exact same hardware as the International, which is in Europe. So you can go and download these ROMs and flash them on your North American HTC Ones and have no problems. I'm living proof that, yes, you can do it. You don't lose LTE. Everything works perfect, flawless, and you won't regret it.
Cool. So an official ROM is out there. In terms of devices, now is this just new devices that have been announced? The HTC One Mini and HTC One Max?
The Mini is confirmed. It is going to be a cheaper and smaller alternative, obviously. It's going to be a 16 gig device opposed to the 32 one. It's going to be a 4.3-inch screen. All the specs are going to be about the same RAM. I believe the processors are a little bit less. And the HTC Max is what is the semi-confirmed. HTC did confirm, yes, there's a bigger alternative coming. But that's about as much as we know. The rumor is it's going to be roughly a 6-inch screen to rival the Note and LG's version of the Note. So that one is a little bit up in the air, but there is a bigger device coming, and the Mini is confirmed, and it's coming in black.
I just love how we sit there and we call 4.3 inches mini.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people I was traveling with lately have been having iPhones, and I just, like, even just the other day, just showing, he was like, you know, here, can you make sure it's not in data roaming mode? I'm like, okay. I'm like, Why don't we get my
How?
glasses out? How do you guys touch these buttons? They're so small. Even a 4.3 is bigger than that. Okay, so Mark's joined us. How you doing, Mark?
Good. Had a little bit of a drama today.
Drama. Hey, well, it wouldn't be another day without just drama.
No, I guess
So,
not.
Mark, we want to bring you up to speed here. We're going to be doing the Sony's Honami, and again, you're a Sony guy, so let's see what your take on this is.
Yeah. So yeah, the leaks got dropped just, I guess it was last weekend, and I didn't jump on it because I was on Canada Day. So I guess some of the guys had already posted on the Monday about it, but I noticed it on the Tuesday morning, and it looks like some guys from XDA they stumbled across I don't know what they call it, if it's a build or if it's something a dump they found, and I guess they were able to extract a bunch of information about the device from that dump, including a lot of screenshots for the new UI. And it looks like what Sony's doing is they're making some changes to the UI of the Honami, even though it's going to be 4.2.2, which is the same as the Ultra. They're actually going to have some more changes to it. So some of the notable changes. Is they're a lot more white. They're adding to it. I guess that's, I don't know. We see like the one doing that. I still prefer a bit black, but I know like the one is doing that. And Tom, you were saying that it looks pretty good, anyways, with the white. So
It looks amazing.
yeah, and they're gonna have their triluminous display. So maybe the whites will really pop on that. I'm not really sure. I'll have to wait and see about how that comes. Things they're revamping a lot of the apps that they built into it. Like the clock, what is it? The clock app, the calculator looks a lot different and everything. Basically, there are a lot of changes for new apps and everything. One thing that they are doing is they're adding their Music Unlimited service into the Walkman app. I've always liked their Walkman app. It looked really nice, but I never kept music on the device very much. Unlike, I know Tom, he keeps music on his devices all the time.
Actually, not anymore.
Oh no, okay.
All Google, man.
I still like third-party apps to be able to use Google. Sorry, baby in the background. I still like them to be able to use the where is it here? I'd still like them to be able to use the Google the Google Music interface, but I guess that's still covered up. Yeah, but it will include the Music Unlimited, so you can run it straight from the app. You'll have to have small apps now. Small apps used to be able to do only one small app at a time. Now you'll be able to have. It looked like they had 3 small apps running at the same time, which is actually really nice to have. So, especially if you have a lot of screen real estate. A lot of little things like that. They're adding changes. They're flattening the UI, so some flattening, but they're keeping some of the buttons in there, anyways. The silver toggle buttons. So little things here and there, and they still have their skinning, their theming, so you can kind of change the color of the UI however you want to. But they're going to change that so it's two-tone now to incorporate the whites in there.
Now, one thing I was reading about this is they're talking about how it's processing the photos a little differently now. Like in terms of just the quality of the photo will be done, or
it looks like, well, yeah, the camera UI is another huge thing that's changed a lot. They have a lot more options for it now, like time shifting, which is I think like the BlackBerry one where it can cycle through the time, and then it can capture maybe different people at different moments or whatever. It's kind of like a nice burst shot. Info Eye, which looks like a Google goggles incorporated into the camera app, where it can tell you information. What else is it? It has what's really interesting is it has the adding additional options or Xperia camera add-ons. So if you want to have additional functionality, or if developers make additional functionality for the camera, you can add that to it. So maybe you want something like like the Samsung one where it removes people from your shots. Maybe someone can develop that one and add it in there afterwards. So
So like a plugin for the camera apps.
Yeah, like
Kinda
something
cool.
like that. The algorithm, I'm not sure the algorithm. Apparently they did something better, but now it can record 4K video, which I think is a little bit overkill. You need to have enough space. If they're gonna make you do that, you need to have 32 gigs of storage on that thing at least to hold that.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. They have a steady shot option. I don't know what that means, if that means optical stabilization or not, but we'll have to see. It looks like it'll have the same Snapdragon 800 processor that's found in the Ultra, so they're all going to be, like, if it gets released by the end of the year or by September-ish, it's going to be one of those top-of-the-line phones. It's not going to be a mid-range or a hidden phone, Tom. I think I didn't hear your comment.
Oh, that's why I made it. Anytime the word Sony is mentioned, Mark gets 5 cents. So obviously he's going to be listening, because he's got Sony all in his finding. And just to set the record straight, I have to give a shout out and props to Ryan Moore. He turned me on to Google Music a while ago, and I didn't quite take to it as, because I had 64 gig card and I had my Galaxy Note and everything, and I had almost 48 gigs in total. I'm like, what do I need this for? And now I pin my favorite tracks and I stream everything online. So thanks, Brian. I love Google Music.
Yeah, just make sure you have a good enough data plan.
Yeah, you got the SIG.
But you can cache. You can cache.
Yeah.
All my liked musics, and just because you guys know, actually, I tried it when I was in the States. Tried to get the All Access program, because I didn't change the address on my billing credit card. It didn't let me purchase it, so I didn't. So I opted not to in the end, not get All Access. But I just love showing off to people that were in the States, like, oh yeah, if you want, here, let's go take a look at my whole album, my whole stuff. As long as I have Wi-Fi, I could get my albums. Oh, do you have any good Red Hot Chili Peppers? I'm like, oh yeah, here we go, and bring it up whenever I want it, as long as I had it at home. Okay, so after that jump back, we're going to go back to updates for the week in terms of apps. So I didn't really notice that many apps update this week, so let me know if I'm missing any here, guys. Angry Birds updated. There's a new Reds, what do they call it, Reds Feather episodes. So basically a new level that's going to be in the regular Angry Birds game. LinkedIn has increased some of the searching options from within the app. So if you want to search for people, search for jobs, search for connections, and a little better algorithms for that now in the app. Skype had a huge overall in terms of how the app itself looks in terms of the UI. So like full screen now for video with little pop-ups for where the different little things like your chat window and hang up and your thing. Anyways, it looks entirely like a little more Holo-esque, as it were, but it does look nice. Mega is a new app that came out for Android, an official app for the cloud there, and so look for a review probably soon, either by myself or Sylvain. Sylvain also wrote in Copilot Live. Now, when I explain that one, Sylvain, I haven't used Copilot in years.
Yeah, so that's the offline app for the maps. So all you need is to download the maps. I do for all Canada, and you're good to go. But surprisingly, I needed that when I went to camping this week, and it couldn't find the place where I was going. So that was pretty bad. But anyway, it's a really good app, and the new feature is that you can just, without a destination, see yourself on a map. So you can kind of follow where you're going.
Cool. I just use Google Maps on cache mode.
Yeah, but it doesn't do navigation. Does it?
Should. I think I haven't really tried, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the apps updated this past week. The next little section we talk about every week is our chance to show you a tip of the week. And this one, I picked out the tip of the week this week is for how to set ringtones. And it may seem basic and rudimentary, but after being in the States, I've noticed that there were a lot more Android devices, and that's true. You go down to the States, there's a lot more people using Galaxy S3s, and I see some Motorola, the Droid Razors, they call them there. So there is a lot more people using, and they're all using stock. Like it really, there wasn't much customization from what I saw. So again, for those people who want to make the phone their own, here's how you do it on your phone. So I'll see if I can bring up my AirDroid just really quickly here, just to show you guys. Let's do a screen share. AirDroid screen share. Okay. So again, all I'm going to do is, hey, and Mark, notice what wallpaper I'm using here? I don't know if you can see. It's the screen, this photosphere wallpaper that Mark showed off last week. Anyways, go into your settings. Gonna look for sound, and there's the ringtone for your phone. So change different, and you can go through and change whatever ones you might have installed. Now here's the real tip comes in, is where do you find these ringtones? Well, if you go into, let's pull up my File Explorer. I use Solid Explorer. You can use whatever you want. In your files on your phone, so plug it in by USB or whatever it is, go into a part here called Media, or is it Sounds? I can't remember now. Oh, actually, they've changed it now. You can actually have ringtones, and I can add in MP3 files in there, or you can go into Notifications and drop an MP3 file in here, and then it will show up in that list. The easier way to do this, and if you don't want to just transfer all that stuff out, use an app called Zedge. Zedge makes it super easy. You just go ahead, say I want to find Dragon Ball Z sound and set it as my thing. That's my simplest tip. Mark, you got a comment about Zedge? You use it that much?
Yeah, I use Zedge, and actually what is really neat feature, I know you think like, oh, you'll download them, right? But then what if you switch phones? You'll lose all your ringtones or whatever, right? You can actually, if you sign in, you can actually star them, and then when you come back to it, they can get a list that'll actually show you, like if you log back in on a new phone, you can get that list of all the ones you saved, and you can re-download them.
Very cool. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, again, just to show off a very simple thing, again, a way to make it yours, right? So anyways, that's our tip of the week. I'll probably do a full review or a full article on that in the next couple of days, so look for that. And then now let's jump into the App Coliseum this week. The App Coliseum, for those of you who've not really paid attention before, this is your first time tuning in, App Coliseum is our chance to show everybody an app that we would really think that you might want to try out. Maybe you haven't tried it out. Maybe you haven't heard about it. Maybe it's very common. Maybe there's a feature about it that makes it stand out from the rest that you might like. And we try to do is we have a little fun with it in terms of being able to have who can recommend the coolest app this week. And we keep track of who gets the most +1s, etc. Last week, just to run down, we had Cass show off Pulse News, Damon, who showed off Google Play Music, Mark showed off Photosphere Live Wallpaper, which you saw me using, Renaud, you showed off Mint, I showed off Feedly, Sylvain, you showed off RealCalc, and Tom showed off HoloLocker. The winner last week was Damon with Google Play Music. But you really can't go wrong with Google Play Music. It is a pretty damn good app. So let's see who can top that this week with their apps. So let's see. I see Cass already has hers ready and fired up in the site. So Cass, what's yours this week?
Cass, I think you're muted.
Thanks. It's dogs barking in the background. So my app is Tapatalk. I am on the beta, so I get updated quite often. The reason why I like Tapatalk is because I can log into a bunch of different forums just at once. There's lots of things to choose from. You can, if you have no idea what you want, particularly, I am using it for XDA and Android Central. So those are ones that come up right away. You can set it so once I go into XDA, if I have subscribed on XDA, those will come up as favorites. Also, it's really good with notifications. So if people respond to your post or ask questions, you get notifications and you can just pop in and reply. This app has really improved since I started using it. Obviously, it doesn't want to load, but it's really improved since I've started using it, and I use it more and more now. And then you can have just one app that goes to a bunch of forums. Oh, how come you can only see my icon?
Oh, I fixed it. I had to click off the window and then reset it as focus, and now I can see. At first, I only saw your icon.
So this is kind of like a nice RSS replacement. And I've actually...
Well, I
wanted to give this
guess
one a try.
it would be an RSS replacement, but it really is for forums.
Okay.
So, yeah, use it the way you want it. It's a good app.
All right, so that's Tap Talk 4. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's take a look at Mark. I know you just jumped in. Are you ready with your App Coliseum?
Yeah, I had to double check because there's been ones I've checked with you guys and it seems to be done everything almost. So,
Desperate.
Okay, we can double up if it hasn't been a while.
well, a good thing I found one. I just double checked with you guys, but it got a little bit popular a while ago. I haven't heard much from it lately, but what I got is a game that works exceptionally well for tablets. It can work for phones, but it does work a lot better for tablets. And the game that I got is called The Room. So, I think I've already got it loaded up. So basically what it is it's basically a really immersive puzzle experience, kind of a mystery-ish puzzle experience. And so what it is it gives you, like here, it gives you a, let's start new here. So the sound is really like, it's like the music and everything is very very creepy and nice. But so right now you have, let's see the tutorial. It gives you like a box, and you have to go look around and you have to search for things. So for example, it shows me double tap on the envelope and swipe, and then you read the letter and then everything and tap the key. And so it's one of those the touch and tap ones to discover things, but it's a lot more like touch based. You have to manipulate the environment to do certain things. So I need to line up the keyhole here, and then I grab the key, and then I rotate the key. And then, so basically it's just a series of clues. And you get items, and you get like different items, and then you go around and you have to find where those items will be used in different spots and everything. And it's quite a bit. Sometimes it can get very tricky and very make you think a lot, but it's actually really interesting, and it's got a little bit of a backstory to it. So that's if you got some time and you want to play around, or you're on the transit or whatever, you can burn through it, and it's a really interesting game.
Those are really big a few years back. I remember like all the Flash games were always those puzzle.
They have some of those, right, where it's like you walk into a room and it's like, oh, you're trying to solve a crime. Find 5 items in this room, and then you find those items, and then like click off a checklist, and then the story goes, right. And then it's like, well, it doesn't feel like you're solving anything. It just feels like you're tapping and finding items, right?
Yeah.
Well, this game, it feels more like you're actually like the tutorial showed you what to do, right? But in the actual game, you don't have the tutorial to help. You have these items, and then you have to figure out how to manipulate the environment and to use those items and where to use them to get further on.
Cool. All right, so that's is The Room. And
so it's $2. Is there a way to try it before you buy it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't know if there's a way to try it before you buy it, but I would say that $2 is too little for that game. That game is really well made, high quality game, and it's $2 is actually nothing to spend on a game like that. I've wasted more money on on lesser things in the App Store than that.
Yes.
Alrighty, so Mark says the room. We've shared it in Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus. If you liked it, +1 it. If you can solve the answers for him, let him know because he's having trouble with a lock. It looked like twisting around. Anyways, my turn. This one I'm going to go with. The app I'm going to go is called Groove IP. Now, I have written an article a while ago about how to use Google Voice in Canada. So now, if you can't get Google Voice to work in Canada, but you still want to be able to dial out, make long distance phone calls, etc. for free, Groove IP is a great way. Especially this is when I was in the States. If I wanted to call home, a long distance from Canada or from the States back home was pretty expensive. So Groove IP, as long as I have Wi-Fi, I can still make long distance calls via my Gmail account that way. So it still works, and it's a great little app. Groove IP, there is a $5 version, which means you can use the calling feature on data versus not just Wi-Fi, and there's no ads. Or Groove IP Lite, which is basically the same thing. You just can't make voice calls over data. It's a great way. Again, like if you're traveling and don't want to make long distance phone calls and get charged for it, you're cheap like me, Groove IP works perfectly. So, not much else to say about it. Groove IP. Try it out. Okay, on to Sylvain.
Yeah, just a second. All right, so very happy about this. Thanks, Ryan, for the hint before the Hangout. So Mega have released its official app. So very happy about this. So I've installed it. Not much into it. I don't have much into my Mega. I keep all my APKs in there. So I'll just show quickly. You can upload images, audio, video. You can pick pretty much anything from your phone. You can long click, which I like. You can delete folders. I know Ryan was telling me that it took him a long time before he could just log in. For me, it was instantly. I've tried other apps from Mega before, and it took a longer time to load all the listing. So you see, I just click on it, and it's right there. So pretty good app for our first release. Right from the app too, you can upgrade, but I mean at 50 gigs, I don't really need to. And I have to say, I was a lifetime user of Mega Upload, and I got screwed like a lot of people. I'm still waiting for something from Kim.com. I think they were talking about giving more space or more features. I'm still waiting. Anyway, still a good service, good app, very nice. And another thing too, camera sync. But I don't know, that comes on the late a little bit. Dropbox has that. I do mine on Google Plus. I'm not sure I would sync all my pictures on Mega. So I think it's just it's a matter of trust. I think
you might get them taken down by the government or something.
Yeah, and they'll keep my pictures.
So don't worry, the NSA knows your
what's
pictures
in
anyways.
them? You're in the military. What is in your pictures?
I can't tell.
Gravel.
I'm sure the NSA already knows anyways. So.
Cool.
So that's my app.
Yeah, you know me, I love cloud apps, and I just love storing them on there, and I think I have near a terabyte of free storage versus all the different apps out there now. So yeah, look for a good review, either probably by Sylvain or myself, in terms of comparing your options to Dropbox, etc. I don't think, did you mention, Sylvain, that it's 50 gigs for free on Mega right now?
Yeah, I quickly mentioned it.
Yeah, 50
it's
gigs.
A lot.
That's a lot of gigs for free. So, anyways, try it out if you guys like it. Give it a +1 if you do. Last but not least, let's take a look at Tom. Tom, what do you got to show off?
All right, well, before I do my app, just answer Cass's question. So he says he's in the military. What do you have on your phone? Military guys have girls on their phone.
You know what? I don't.
I was
Or their
wondering
rifle.
when they show those.
You have boys on your phone?
I didn't want to do that joke.
Let's not go there.
It's okay, we had nothing wrong with that.
So my app.
Well, I think his girlfriend might have a problem with that.
I think I'm gonna mute Mark.
You just came, Mark, and look at what you've done.
All right, Tom.
Guys, settle down now. Okay. So my app is called Kids Balloon Pop, and this is actually the reason why I bought the tablet. Let me get rid of my little thing there. There we go. So it's just a very simple game. Like, all it is balloons that will float up to the sky, and all you have to do is just pop them, right? And butterflies and stars and hearts and everything come out of them, the little animation. It's just fun for Alex because he's only a year old, just past a year, and he just starts slapping the screens, and of course it starts popping. But that's also a complaint of mine. I just exited the game by slapping the screen randomly, and that happens to him all the time.
Yeah, I think you pressed on the ad.
Yeah, when I load the game, it asks me, do you want to load it into kids mode? And I say yes. And they throw that stupid banner over there on a kids game, in kid mode. Either way, it's just a fun game. He was slapping this earlier and making the balloons pop, and he started laughing and giggling away. And so, that right there was worth the money I paid for the tablet. So again, it's called Kids Balloon Pop. It is the free version. There is a paid version, of course, to get rid of the ads. But if you got a little one at home, this is just a great, simple game. Just the colors alone will keep any young one entertained for a while. Just watch those bad banners. English, they kind of get in the way. Either way, it's a good app. So check it out, Kids Balloon Pop.
Cool. That kind of leads me. Maybe we should do an app Coliseum one day and just tablet apps or something like that, stuff like that.
Oh.
Anyways, we can.
Man, I thought you were going to say kids apps, and Sylvain and I would have to go sit in a corner.
You go and you think about not having kids.
How do you feel? How do you think I feel when you guys do all your RRS feed app, whatever? I sit in the
Awesome.
There was there's one game that I have that actually has a lock for. It's not really a game, but it has a lock for the home buttons. I don't know if you've tried those ones before.
No, I haven't.
It's called Baby Toy, and it's basically it's this one, right? And you can, in the settings, you can turn on the lock home button, and then what happens is when you go to the game,
yeah,
it's gonna be a little okay. Then you have to set this one as a launcher, and then when you turn the volume down, because it's basically just makes noises, right?
Yeah.
And if they hit the home button, nothing happens.
What about the back button?
That might do stuff. Oh yeah, you have to hit the four corners to do back. So you have to hit those ones, and then you can go back.
I see.
Otherwise, if you just try and go back, it says to exit, press four corners, but it doesn't actually go back.
That's actually a good feature, because that was my biggest concern, is that he would just start slapping these buttons, and then I'll have to keep resetting it from every 5 seconds.
It doesn't work as well with the multitasking button, though. Because that one still is usable, Steve.
Yeah.
So on Nexus devices, it's a little bit harder.
Well, Tom posted something for a while ago about but you had to be rooted, and it would hide those buttons for kids apps.
Yeah, this doesn't need rooting.
Yeah.
You know what? There's actually an app I saw earlier. It was full screen something, and it actually didn't require root, and actually pull down your status bar and hide everything. I don't think it required root. I'll have to check into that, and if it ends up being true, I'll have to get that as my next week's Coliseum app.
Yeah. Well, that's the only reason that he still plays that one, is just because any other app you get, he always hits the home or the back button, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only one that he really still likes to slam on it and make the sounds without actually.
That's my project for the coming week. I'm going to find a way to disable these buttons for the next kids app. So I'm going to try to have an app ready for next week. That is my project.
There you go.
All right, we set him a project. Okay, so that's the app Coliseum again. If there's an app that you tried out and you liked because of this, or that you already know you like, give the share that we had on Google Plus or Twitter or Facebook a +1, a like, or whatever, and we can find out which ones are getting most traction out of this stuff. That's kind of interesting, and again, just a way to be competitive in what we're doing. But if there's an app Coliseum that you guys like, use the hashtag app Coliseum. I know we're in the YouTube comments. We've had one reader, Chris Pollard, there was saying that he's really liking, what was the app called? Carmageddon, really liking to use it. Do you game on your tablets? Do you game on your phones? Let us know. Write it in the comments. Give us a poke on Hangouts or something. Let us know what's going on. Other than that, guys, that's the end of Android Coliseum's Friday Night Hangout number 36. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Again, it's great just to rush back home for this and be in time just for the show. For me, it's a way to really start the weekend, even though I've already been off already for a while. So what we're going to be doing is turning off the on-air portion. We'll be off-air. So if you want to jump in and correct our mistakes and let us know what your app of choice is, or maybe you already have an answer for Tom on his project for the week, let us know. Otherwise, from Ryan here at Android Coliseum, thanks so much, and let everybody else do their sign-offs. We'll start with Cass.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Mark?
Yeah, have a good weekend. Thanks for stopping by, and vote for the room.
I always forget to plug.
Yes, share +1. We'll count all the +1s out there to see who gets it. Sylvain?
Yeah, I still have
+2,
10
Mike.
days to decide if I keep my tablet, so
Ooh, so we'll see. We'll find out next week.
that's
Did he
right.
keep it or what? And
Can
Tom?
you keep the case?
Thanks for joining us, guys. As Ryan said, if you can find a way to disable these buttons or hide them for kid use, please
Gun
share
tape.
with us.
Oh, that's
I'd be appreciative, and so would a lot of other parents and kids who play with tablets. So
look at Tom being sneaky. Here's his research.
It's
Here's
called
your
crowdsourcing.
project.
it's reaching out to the peoples. Come on.
Crowdsourcing.
Exactly.
I just loved how the military guy automatically went to gun tape. That's
We have lots of it.
there we go. It's like duct tape, but for guns.
Yeah.
It works underwater and all sorts of fun stuff, right?
But it dries a lot. Under the sun? Awful.
Does it leave a sticky residue?
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
You don't want that on your tablet. Okay, thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next week at Android Coliseum number 37. That's going to be July the 12th. I got that one right this time. Next week will be July the 12th. Okay, thanks so much, everybody. See you later.